We are proud to announce the 2019 Palisade Global Hard Asset Conference, taking place on Jackal Island from May 16th to May 20th. Speakers confirmed include one of the most successful venture capital fund managers within the resource space, Marin Katuso, legendary mining investor Paul Matizek, former hedge fund manager Mike Alkin, and CEO at US Global Investors, Frank Holmes. All these guests, plus many more to be announced. Sign up now for more details and to be included in our special guest list. Join us in Jackal Island and become part of a growing number of investors who are ready to take advantage of a coming resource boom. Welcome back to another episode of Palisade Radio. I'm your guest host, Karema Mutlu, and on today's show, we have the president and founder of a natural resource investment fund, MP1 Capital, Philip O'Neill. How are you today, Philip?
I'm very well, thank you, Karem. Thanks for having me.
Let's go through some of your background within the mining space. Listeners would be interested to hear about your experience within the uranium market and how you participated in the previous bull run in the mid-2000s. And does the beginning of that big move back then remind you of where we are today? How do you see the uranium market?
Yeah, that's really where I got my start in the junior mining space was in uranium. I was really early to the play. I started picking away at some of these junior uranium stocks. There were only about 7 or 8 listed when I got going in this. In about 1999 or so, a little bit more meaningfully in the 2001 to 2003 period. And, of course, from there, the uranium market skyrocketed. When I initially got involved, I was hoping the uranium price would go from about $7, $8 a pound to $25, and by 2007 it was up all the way up to $146 a pound, and the stocks went rather crazy. That bull market was preceded by about 20 or 30 years of nothing in a uranium bull market. So you had a brand new set of investors, speculators, industry professionals. This time around, the last bull market was some 10 or so years ago, so there's a lot more experience, a lot more intellectual capital that is aware of some of the older plays. So it'll be a little bit different this time. I'm not sure if we're going to see the mania we saw in the mid-2000s, but I think we're heading towards a healthy uranium junior mining stock market, so to speak.
So what are your current thoughts on the junior mining sector today, especially for junior gold and silver companies? Is the mentality of most juniors to focus on hanging on for a turnaround in the sector for higher gold and silver prices? And is there money or finance available for juniors to continue their work and exploration?
Well, I think we're in a good place at the moment for precious metals. I'm in no way a commodities expert, but I would seem that gold and silver have stopped going down, and the recent move over 1,300 certainly last week was very nice, and I just find there's been some positive momentum since the fall with the junior precious metal stocks. Of course, regardless of where we are in a commodity cycle, the good teams, the good companies can always finance. So if you're Lucas Lundin or Robert Friedland or Ross Beatty, Oxygen Capital, the Discovery Group, these guys can, generally speaking, finance anywhere in the cycle. Where having a strong gold and silver market helps is with the less strong teams, or the groups that maybe have a nice project but a non-tested management team, and the average, let's call it that, junior mining gold and silver player will do better in these markets for sure.
Very good. You've been very successful at picking junior resource stocks in the past. So could you tell us about some of the biggest winners and what you learned from them? And also tell us a little bit about a few of your mistakes. You recently wrote a blog post talking about an oil stock and how that one got away from you. Can you tell us the story?
Absolutely. So there have been a lot of winners, some losers, and as you're referring to Africa Oil, some the one that got away where you didn't lose any money, but you missed out on a big gain. So, back in the uranium days, there was just crazy money to be made. I remember getting involved with J&R Resources in a 5-cent private placement with a full warrant at 10 cents to see that stock shoot up to $4. Companies at the time was called Rough Rider Uranium, which eventually became Hathor. So got involved with Dale Walster in Rough Rider at 10 cents, and that got bought out by Rio Tinto. I think well over $4 or $5 if memory serves. And there, when there's a bull market and you get in early with the right influencer groups, the right management teams, even bad companies can give you a 5-to-1 or 10-to-1. But certainly, if you're, I've always been good at buying. Selling is not always as easy for me, and sometimes you stay in too long. Sometimes the markets turn on you. You're on the wrong side of a speculation, and that's part and parcel of being involved in this game. And as you referenced, companies like Africa Oil, where I got involved, circa back in, I think it was in late 2010, early 2011, and Marin Catus had given me a call and said, Phil, you should get involved in this. So I took a pretty healthy position and sold out in late 2011. I had a slight profit, so you should never be upset when you make money. But this thing just proceeded to go from about $1.80 or so to over $11 in, I'm talking in weeks. Like it was a straight line. And I'm back into Africa Oil some 7-8 years later because I think it offers some good opportunities. I'm not sure if we're going to see a straight line like we did in early 2012. But I call Africa Oil the one that got away. If I could have just hung on for another month or so, I would have had a 10-bagger on my hands. But it is what it is.
Excellent. Yes, I think most investors have a story about the one that got away. So let's move on to how you finance a junior mining company and what you look for. So what are the factors when you look for financing them? Would you say management and the size of a potential deposit are key? And what would you tell potential investors when looking at junior resource companies?
Well, management teams are probably the biggest key. The potential of the project is also important, not nearly important in my opinion as a management team, because good management teams can make you money with a bad project, change the project. But there's so much more involved in really being able to make money in this junior mining game. It has a lot to do with the influencers, because it's not only the management team, it's who's backing the story. If somebody says, Phil, listen, have a look at this company, I'll say, whose play is it? Because I want to know who is behind the play, who else is involved, or which letter writers are taking a position, which big market players are getting behind it. And you've got a group in the industry that are very, very strong. I call influencers, and you always want to, as much as possible, be in with these guys in these new exciting plays. I'm in this to make 5 to 10 times my money now. It's not a reasonable expectation that you can do that every time, and in fact, it probably only happens once or twice out of 10. But other times you can make 50%, another time 30%. But I'd like to average at least 100% for each basket of 10 companies that I own. In order to do that, because there's always going to be a few losers, you need to have some with big returns. So I won't get involved unless I feel the company, if everything goes right, has a chance at a 5 or 10-to-1. And I only get involved with good management teams with strong influencers behind the story.
Very good. Well, as we're wrapping up the show today, Phil, is there anything else you wish to discuss? Anything else on your mind at the moment?
Well, I've just recently taken positions in 2 private companies that are in the process of going public. One that I've written about already in Victory Metals, which is a vanadium play in Nevada, and it's currently Ripper Oil and Gas, but we'll change the name to Victory Metals in a very short period of time. I'm hoping it'll be public sometime in February. So this company was put together by for a very long time. In fact, I've known Colin since he was a 14-year-old teenager when I first met him in his house back in Burtonsville, Maryland, and always want to be supportive of some of the stuff he's doing because I think he's one of the brighter stars in this industry. He's put this play together. Ironically, I know Colin, but it was brought to my attention by Marion Katusa, who told me I should have a look. And Paul Matizik is involved in this, and he sold his last 5 companies for $2.6 billion. It's a nice project. It's I wouldn't say it's a lower grade project in terms of the vanadium projects in Nevada, but it's soft rock and has a potential to be very, very low capex. It's my view that probably only one of these Nevada vanadium plays will eventually have a change of control scenario, and I think capex is going to play a very, very big role in which company gets bought out. I think Victory Metals has a chance to be a very, very low capex story. It's got strong people behind it. The project is just, west of a mining town. It's got Interstate 80 running right through it, a rail line at the north edge of the project. The North Valmy generating station, that's 522 megawatts, if memory serves, is only 9 miles away. So it's got a lot of things going for it, and really looking forward to seeing it go public in the coming weeks. Another story that I really like, and a financing that is meant to close today, is called Gold Spot Discoveries. I met with C.J. Kim and the CEO out in Vancouver at the Cambridge House conference. Really, really like the story. I'm not, this is a story where artificial intelligence meets mining, and I'm, of course, a lot more comfortable on the mining side than I am with artificial intelligence, but it's always, I really look forward to these new technologies that can bring a different perspective to the same old junior mining story. So what they've done at Gold Spot Discoveries is that they've assembled a bunch of PhDs, very strong artificial intelligence people, along with a very strong geological team, and they've partnered up with companies such as Yamana, Sprott, Hochschild, and they're going to use their artificial intelligence to leverage into certain junior mining companies where they'll take, through service agreements, some money. They'll also invest money into the company in exchange for some royalties. And I see it as a very, very good fit where this, artificial intelligence will really, really help in probably discovering some nice big deposits. We're an industry that has been, there just hasn't been very, very many big discoveries of late, especially in the precious metals. I mean, Fruta del Norte is one that comes to mind. In the base metals, certainly Cascabel Full Gold would be considered a new discovery, but they're few and far between. And I'm really happy with my position in Gold Spot Discoveries because I think the artificial intelligence and the team assembled behind it. I mean, it's got Sheldon Inwentash, who's been always a big supporter of junior mining. Again, Colin Cattell as a founder. So strong team. I think there's going to be a lot of news flow moving forward once they go public. Again, it's another company that should be. This is the financing I just participated in. Was they're going public financing with a reverse takeover of a CPC called Duckworth. So that should be up and trading, I would imagine, in the next month or two. And just a very exciting story to be behind. I think it's going to garner a lot of attention in the industry. And if we ever do get an uptick in the junior mining complex, this is the kind of company that will just garner, general interest from outside of the industry because of its very unique approach to what it's doing. So, yeah, those are two companies I thought I'd bring to the fore as companies that are yet to be public. I discuss some companies in my blog, but at this point in time, I thought I'd bring two that are not yet trading so that maybe people can keep an eye out and look for Victory Metals and Gold Spot Discoveries, two exciting companies who should be trading in the coming months.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing that, Philip. And thank you very much for your time today. And I'm sure we'll have you back on the show again very soon.
Okay, very much appreciate it, Karim, and thanks for having me.
Think you understand the junior mining sector and you think that the participants in the mining sector, junior mining sector, are good people and kind people, hit the bid.
How violent that term could be, it actually could be quite violent. It could be a rip-your-face-off uranium rally.
And the world is always going to need raw materials. It's going to need copper and gold and nickel and so forth.
Totally destabilized. Hey, Troll, did you hear what's going on in Yemen?